Jazz, welcome to the Packers Century and welcome to the United States of America. How about that?
Thank you.
You bet. Tell us a little bit about your interest in the Packers, how you got involved, and why you like them so much.
So we're going back several years. We're going back to the 2010 season, and as everyone knows, that was the last time the Packers won a Super Bowl in February 2011 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And during this time, I became really fascinated by how a small town boasts such a big club, and it has an iconic stadium of 80,000 seater, and people from all over the world come to Green Bay. There's a long waiting list, and it has a very rich tradition and of Vince Lombardi, Curly Lambeau, and it just fascinated me.
Is there any comparable sports team in Australia that you'd connect with the Packers that has kind of a history like that a little bit?
Not really, because the thing about Australia is it's a small country, so we don't have iconic stadiums for each club. The stadiums are stadium shares. So one of the most iconic sports stadium in Australia and the whole world is the Melbourne Cricket Ground, which is a 100,000 seater stadium in the city of Melbourne, which is the home of sport in Australia. And it's cricket during this summer, which is October to February, and then between March to September, it's Australian rules football, and then it also hosts some rugby union, rugby league, and occasional soccer game when the national team is playing. So it's an amazing stadium, but it's not specific to one sport or one team.
Okay.
Whereas Lambeau Field is very specific to the Green Bay Packers and American football, and it's in a town of 104,000 people. But it's an 80,000 seater stadium. I think that's unique, and there aren't many places in the world that have that. And the fact that it takes 30 odd years to be on a waiting list for a season pass, and people from all over the world come to Green Bay to watch a game, and it's very, very unique.
It really is. Favorite stories, things you have experienced that you'd want other Packer fans to know about?
Well, in terms of how I ended up first coming to Green Bay was January 2013. It was 2 years after the Super Bowl. We were at the playoffs, but I decided to come anyway because my flights were booked. And it was a really cold Wednesday. It was snow everywhere. I was walking around and I didn't have proper warm clothing, and I was so cold. And I saw a bar. I walked in and the bartender said, "Where are you travelling from?" I said, "Australia." He said, "Do you want to go ice fishing tomorrow?" And so we went ice fishing and became a really good friend with him and other people I met that day, and I just fell in love with the place. Had such a great time. And then the following year in October, end of September, early October, during my spring holidays as a high school teacher in Perth, Western Australia, I came to Green Bay for my first game. It was the Vikings, and the Packers won 42-10 against the Vikings, October the 2nd, 2014. And I had such an amazing time, pre-game, actual game and post-game. And I was sitting in my friend's bar after the game. It was around midnight, 1 AM. I was having a post-game beer, and I'd been tailgating with a very good friend of mine now, Brad, and he's CEO of the Green Bay Visitor Bureau. And he said there was a guy from Australia in 2007 that quit his job. They sold their house, and not only did he move to Green Bay for a season, but his wife and 2 young boys. And then this inspired me to do the same.
Have you met them?
No, I've not met them. I think they actually live in California now. So, it just inspired me. And there's a scheme called the Deferred Salary Scheme where you can work for 4 years at 80% pay, and then I have a year off at 80% pay. So as soon as I got back, I went on the 80% pay scheme in November 2014 to November 2018. And then in December 2018, after the end of the school year, I flew to India for Christmas. I went backpacking for several months in South America. I flew to England to see my mum, which is the country where I was born, watched some cricket. Then I arrived in Green Bay on the 7th of August.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an experience, and having such diversity, you know,
Yeah.
and seeing the different cultures and things.
Yeah.
What is, and I didn't give you a chance to think about this, but what's the funniest thing that ever happened to you being connected to the Packers? Did you ever have anything really funny happen to you up in the parking lot at Lambeau before a game, or anything like that you'd share?
Yeah, I was being filmed by the Green Bay Press Gazette, and I was interacting with fans whilst they were filming for their story, and I went up to some guys, and they made my first ever shot ski, which I'd never done before.
Oh, sure.
So, which is lots of fun, and
the little shot ski at Lambeau.
Yeah, and that was my first ever experience.
How many did you have?
The thing is, I was pretty civilised that night. I only had one, but I saw them last Sunday, and they made me do a few. So yeah.
They made you. They tied you down, right?
Yeah, there's been so many tailgate offers coming through, and big shout out to the Flamigos. They're the diehard fans. They start at 5 a.m. and I turned up at 9 a.m. Last Sunday. They said I was 4 hours late, but that's too hardcore for me. And there's been several other tailgates coming through. People wanting to catch for dinner, general message of support, place to stay around America for the road games, place to stay in Green Bay. Someone offered their car the other day. Lots of ticket offers. One particular story, great story, is Heather Heason, who wasn't able to go to the Vikings game due to being diagnosed with cancer. And even in her condition, she kindly reached out to me. And I think that says a lot about the Packers' spirit and generosity, and one of the reasons why I wanted to come to Green Bay, because I've been coming to Green Bay since the Packers-Vikings game for every spring holidays to see a game at Lambeau, and every time I've made more mates, and every time everyone's been generous, and they love my story, and it's an unreal experience. I'm really grateful.
So have you met any female Packer fans that might convince you to come to America on a more regular basis?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm just enjoying the experience game by game. I'm also doing the Badgers game, so I'm going to the Wolverines game tomorrow in Madison, and then after the game I've got to drive back to Green Bay for the Broncos game on Sunday. I'm going to the game with some retired teachers from Milwaukee who kindly donated me a ticket. So there's lots of people that want to hang out with me, and that really means a lot to me, because I've lived in lots of different countries, India, England, Australia, and this is a unique experience. It would only happen in America, and I think the reaching out, because it's the Midwest, because it's Wisconsin, would only happen in Green Bay. If I was a fan of another team, let's say, especially one of the bigger cities, I don't think I'd have the same hospitality, the same experience.
Well, we're happy to have you here, and I thank you for stopping to see us, and we hope you have fun with the Badgers tomorrow, because that's going to be just like Green Bay, you know, the same kind of camaraderie and the love for the team.
Yeah.
And then you get up to Green Bay, and I'll be running around the parking lot and before the game getting stories. So thank you so much for stopping, and have a great time in America.
Cheers, mate. Bye.